Let's see. Okay, cool. I'm trying to see if I can upload this link and get on here. So I can share it through Facebook. Oh. Oh, let me see. Sorry, I had to grab my tablet real quick. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Oh no, it didn't copy. Oh, cool. Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, share Facebook. Jump on there. All right, let's do that. And then I want to. All right. Post it. Oh man, I should have put a different picture. All right. Oh, cool. Maybe I didn't even realize we weren't friends on Facebook. That's crazy. All right. So let's go. All right, let's go back to here. Okay, let me try this. All right. So, one of the things that I do want to talk about is staying consistent. Because I think I get asked this question the most when people are signing up is how do I stay consistent, especially with like an online fitness coach? And one of the biggest things that I say is when you want to stay consistent, you have to like remind yourself basically. Like that's the hardest part is because like when we when we feel like we are either slacking off or we have something interrupt us like let's say you know your kid gets in trouble at school and now you got to go picking them up from school, so you're taking off work, so now you either got to stay longer for work or like your head's just in this big old weird stage, and then now like you don't even feel like going to the gym later, right? Like you already have the gym paid for, you already have your workout bag ready, but the only thing that is making your excuse right now, the only thing that is an excuse is just the fact that you had an off day, you had a weird day, your kid got in trouble and you had to go pick him up and now he's hanging around with you, or you left him at home um, by himself depending on their age, or you had to stay home with them. So if you had to stay home with them, that's an even better excuse to take them to the gym with you. So that's one of this. Being consistent is eliminating all factors of excuses. So that's one of the biggest things, especially when clients are starting out. I ask them what their timeline, their routine looks like, so we can dial that in hard. Because I know that's one of the biggest things that I had. One of the biggest issues was not having a solid routine, and that just kept me pulling left and right, left and right. And I didn't want to go. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to um, try and make the next move because everything just kept kept going here and there, here and there, because of my routine. My routine was not solid, and that's the first thing when you sign up with my program is I ask you, what is your routine like, and then you know we go over your goals. Okay, so how do you want to get there? Your consistency relies on every day having a success, getting 1% better, or just achieving small micro goals throughout each day and throughout each week. And then those piled on top of each other, then you basically with each um, like consistency win, with each goal that you win, it becomes a lifestyle. Like you have a goal of just brushing your teeth every night before bed. Well, if you don't normally do that and you do it like every other night or something like that, and then now you have a routine every day, like set a reminder. If you forget and you have a problem with forgetting like I do, like that's probably one of the biggest problems that I have is I'm just very forgetful. Um, and so I have a lot of reminders. I have a lot of things that just like sticky notes. Um, like sometimes like I'll think of like a color or a word and I try to match it in my head because I'm a very visual person. So I have my process of like setting my own reminders. And so like if I think of red and I know that morning I'm wearing a red shirt, then I know, hey, I gotta eat an apple or something like that before an hour before the gym. Load up on my carbs, you know, because otherwise sometimes I'll just be ready for the gym and I'll just go. So it's little things like that that help you stay consistent over time. And those things piled on top of each other, it just creates a habit, and then after a habit, it creates a lifestyle. So so that's one of the things that I've found works the best for me is like find your own way, but yet you can try any way possible and stick to something for a while and tweak it your own self. Tweak it till it actually like works and you formulate it to work perfectly for you. I'm more scientific about stuff. I have like um I have like YouTube people, podcasters that I watch that are more scientific, and you may be somebody that is like, hey, just get straight to the point. Just give me a full sentence of what I need to do, how I need to do it, and when I need to do it, and I'm good. And for people like that, come the plan. They come the structured plan. You write it down on paper. You write it down. You put a timestamp to it, and over you carrying that paper around, like if you lose your paper, I mean, you still got your phone. Take a picture of it on your phone, or you put it into your notes or something like that on your phone, and so you don't lose it, and you still have that um, to carry around. You still have that, because so you don't have to memorize it. You don't have to memorize your timeline. You don't have to memorize your routine. You just have to have a way to look back on it and revert to it, especially if you're not forgetting. And then what I've done recently is so like I got my plan here. Um, so like I got my fitness plan, and so I have Faith and Fit. I don't know if this is reversed on y'all's end, but my plan, it just incremented like 4 a.m. wake up, and then what I'm gonna do a little bit of stretching, and that may take 5-10 minutes, and then I'm moving on to getting my breakfast and my lunch ready, um, and it doesn't really have to be like every second you're dialing in and putting that on your timeline, but you just have to set a schedule. At 4 a.m. wake up. 4:05 do a little bit of breathing, mobility work. 4:25 to 4:45 get ready, pack your food, do a little bit of a devotional, because usually in the ride going to work I have about an hour time, 45 minutes to about an hour, so I can do a devotional. I can listen to a YouTube podcast or something like that in the morning, that, well, whether it's random or whether it's something that I need that at that time, like I'll just search it, or I'll just have one already automatically that the algorithm has put up for me, and I'll just click on it and go. And so it's real easy to set yourself up for small wins throughout the day, and a lot of that comes from being organized, having a timeline, and see, I even like write little notes like what I want to change later. And so when I go back and I look at it and I'm like, you know what? I didn't really push myself that hard today in the gym. And so for the next day, I'll write a little challenge out to see how I can either match it or go beyond what I did the day before. And even though it may be like a different exercise or something like that, I'll just try to like push myself a little bit harder. And then I'll make a note on there, and for next week, because usually it's in phases, right? So I'll try and um, just get on there and like make a little note, say, hey, next week add another round or two, or add a little bit more weight here and there. So that's kind of like going over consistency. The consistency in the gym, Shay. Say, get out of my DMs. But I'm recording this, so I can post it later or whatever. But quit commenting on here and go share it on Facebook. Get people to jump on real quick. But do now you got me all flustered and crazy now. Um, but yeah, so like it goes from like the daily life flow, like that's what I titled it, daily life flow. And like I said, I don't know if this looks right. Ah, I gotta figure out how to flip the camera or something. Sorry, but but yeah. So I mean, it's the hardest part is staying consistent, and there are so many easy parts about being consistent, or that that you can use like resources and things like that. Like that is the the main thing that people skip over because they're like, oh, well, I'll just go to the gym and I'll figure it out. Like, that's the worst thing that you can do is just go figure it out. Like, you go to the gym and you're like wandering around and like, oh, I'll just try this machine out, or I'll just try this machine out today, and maybe I'll do 15 reps, and then on the next set, oh, that was a little too hard, so I'll do 12. That's not it, because you're not going to progress and you're not going to get better in any way rather than pushing yourself. If you did 15, even if you are doing a random exercise you've never done before, if you could do 15, push yourself to do 20 that next time. And then on this, by the third set, you should be adding more weight and you should be doing less reps, depending on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do endurance, hypertrophy, if you're just trying to train for running, or if you're trying to train for conditioning, it just depends on what you're doing. And that's where a plan locks you in. So I can't say that enough. But so that's kind of one thing that I can talk about. And that, yeah, and that, like, a lot of people always ask, do you struggle um, with food, or you just struggle with workouts more? And I mean, I myself have struggled so much with food. Like, even today, like, I had a cheat day. Like, I probably had the last cheat couple months, where I've gained some weight, and losing that weight is a lot harder. And the main goal, though, is me not being so attracted to food and not thinking of it as a luxury, as like a dopamine. It's like a drug to me, right? And I know a lot of people feel that way because I love how food tastes. I love the textures of foods and things like that. So you can get me talking about food all day long, about certain varieties of food, but when it comes down to it, we only need food for fuel. And when we're fueling our bodies with food, that means like having protein for breakfast, low carbs. You want low sugar, um, and then you want to be have minimum of fats in the morning, and then around lunchtime, nutritionally, like for me, um, midday, I usually like to do my workout, so I load up on carbs around lunch, and that way I can have fuel for my workouts. And so the carbs that I'm eating, I'm actually burning them through the workout, and then it helps build muscle retention. And then you're not storing that energy, because later on it gets stored, and then it actually, your body says, oh, do I need to store this, or do I need to store this as energy, or do I need to store this as fat? And so that can be a big problem, especially with carbs, and if you're overeating on carbs. um, so if anybody out there wants a um, a macro breakdown, I can do that for you, no problem. Usually, you want, like, let's say I'm 200 pounds, right? I want to be probably around 170, 165 in my pounds, and then that's how much weight I want to lose. That's where I want to get to. So I want to be around 170 in protein. I want to be either my zero point 0.5 grams of my body weight, or at least 1 gram to 1 pound of body weight with the protein. And then with your fat, you want to be about 30%. And then with your carbs, depending on what you want to do, if you want to do endurance, if you're going to need carbs to fuel your workouts, or if you're athletic and you need to fuel your workouts, or your game day or something like that, and you need carbs, it just kind of varies in between there. But that's typically either around 45% to 50% carbs. Now, funny thing is with kids, and I just learned this a few weeks ago, is kids being immature and under the growing age, want them to have more carbs. So they're going to be doubled in carbs. They're going to be, okay, so let's say you have a like my son, I built his fitness plan. I have that here. So his structure is is through everything from behavior to nutrition to things that he needs to do, and then his workout of the day, and that's pretty easy. But for a kid, he needs um, about 85 grams of protein, and he's 8 years old, and he needs to be weighing about that, maybe about 60 pounds or so. But his protein intake needs to be more than what he weighs, and his carbs need to be double or triple that. So it's 230 grams of carbs. So that's that's a lot of carbs, right? But the thing is because our brain utilizes carbs, and the best way that our brain can grow and our body can grow, because especially as young kids, we need so much energy. And think about it, you're expending energy just by rest, right? So you have that calculation, you have the energy that you're using playing recess, and then you have the energy that you're using for your body to grow. So no wonder it's almost triple the amount of protein that you need. And then your fats are still probably around 30%, because and those are the hormones, and those are necessary for kids, and especially for young girls, because before they start their period, they're going through a lot of hormones, and that fat stage gets a little bit more towards 12, 13, 14 years old, right before girls start their periods. And this also is with women too. It doesn't matter what age, but around certain cycles of your period, you're gonna want a little bit more fats to help that hormones. Otherwise, you get that crazy feeling. And I've been studying on it, and I've been trying to just be more sensitive to the menstrual cycle, and because this is good knowledge, like that kind of started my research on it, was learning about hormones and why we need fats to build hormones. So that was one cool thing that I learned. But yeah, for kids, like especially for kids, that way their hormones can be growing and building, and all that. So that's one of the nutrition things, and that's why it's crucial for us to have. Um, I can't zoom out. I don't, or I can sit back a little bit, I guess. But it's for some. That's why I'm playing with it. That's why I'm trying. Is trying this out is to get a good setting. But yeah, so that's one of the cool things that I learned about kids, like them needing more carbs, more fats, women needing a little bit more fat than men to eat. And I'm not talking about um, saturated fats. I'm talking about unpolysaturated fats and unsaturated fats. Um, so that's all the good fats. That's like butter. Butter is good fats, but it's not necessarily super healthy. But like olive oil is one of the best fats, and avocado oil is a lot better fat than that. So really, you just kind of want to watch what kind of fats you're, like the greasy fats, like potato chips and burgers and all that type of stuff. Vegetable oil is a really bad fat, and seed oils are not necessarily bad as they are in the natural state. Seed oils are bad because of the way they process them. So pumpkin seed oil is still good too. You can use that as cooking, and coconut oil. They have higher cooking temperatures, but yeah. So things like that. So see, now I'm far away from the computer, and I can't freaking see what y'all are reading. Oh, y'all are just laughing at me now. But yeah. So it's one of those things where I'm just recording. I'm recording this too, so watch your language. But so yeah, it's one of those things that we just need to watch out as far as nutrition, and what we actually are doing to our bodies. Show them your muscles. Show them your muscles.
No, yeah, I want to do something.
See, you're weak,
No,
bro.
yeah, I want to do something.
What are you doing? The camera's not even pointing at you, bro. It's not even pointing at you. All right, now do it. That boy crazy. But yeah, so nutrition is, I know, is a lot harder for people than actually workouts. Because like myself, like I started working out when I was in high school, and all they teach you is basically strength and conditioning, and just pushing you harder and harder to uh, have more weight, put on more weight, do more reps, this and that. And so they're just really just trying to build you because you're young, and that's really the most of the foundation that you need when you are young and you're strength training and stuff like that. Um, but it's really cool because a lot of schools now actually have like a really good strength training and conditioning regime. It gets better in the college, but a lot of high schools have it, like especially the elite high schools. Like if you've like Allen High School, the Eagles over there, I think DeSoto, and those are just places around Texas that are like well known for like their conditioning, their students, and training for their specific roles. Because like usually it would just be like even the wide receivers would just be in there trying to deadlift, 250 pounds, and then you'd have the linemen doing the same thing, so it doesn't make sense. But I'm glad that a lot of schools like are coming into that and actually learning how to teach these kids, and that way when they get older, like when they go to college and then when they go to the NFL or NBA or whatever, they know how to take care of their bodies because they started at a really good foundation. They had good fundamentals and they had a good training in the beginning. So, Enrique, what's up, bro? Seeing you on here. Um, so yeah, basically that's one of the, nutrition is hard. Um, and one of the best, and before I move on to the next topic, one of the best diets, like as far as like countries or the type of diet that you could have is the Mediterranean diet because it's low carb. It has a lot of vegetables and just basic like nuts and fruits and all that type of foods in there. So a lot better than the American diet because standardly the American diet is fast food. And so let me see the rest of my. Okay, so God, struggle more food or workouts. How many days a week do you actually go to the gym? How many days a week do you actually move? Um, so that's a really good question. So when I'm when I'm starting off and I'm making fitness plans for people, just like going back to the routine, the next thing that I actually ask them is, well, how many days are you moving? And I would start out with like, how many steps do you take a day? Um, if you are taking about 10,000 steps a day, right, you're getting about a couple miles in, right? So that's really good and all, but that's the baseline. That's like where you want to get to as far as baseline, as far as maintenance, right? Um, Eating in a calorie deficit definitely helps that and is a part of that. So um, when you don't move at all, and when you've been on the couch forever, and that's pretty much like your whole life, is going from eating, sleeping, and sitting. Like, think about it, like your body's not moving at all. So if I have any clients that are like that, I usually just tell them, hey, get up and just walk around your house if you're able to walk around your house, or do a couple laps back and forth on a track. Just go down for 200 meters and come back. And if that's all you can do, just go until you're out of breath. Gauge how many steps that was, and then just kind of push yourself a little bit each time. If you can do 1,000, tomorrow try 1,500. The next day try 1,700. And that way you're not doubling it every time, but you times it by 1.5 or something like that, and so you're adding a little bit of steps here and there. And so uh, loud. So that way, if you're going from non-mobility to a little bit of mobility, it's better than trying to jump into doing straight up 10,000 steps an hour, or start 10,000 steps a day, and then overdoing it, because you don't want to overdo it, and you don't want to scare yourself out of working out. You don't want it to be horrible, and you want to enjoy it. So get to a point where you feel like you can, like, breathe heavenly, like, but still talk a little bit. And that's one of the things I want to go over. That's like about a zone 2 heart rate. So that zone 2 will be probably about 130 to 140 beats per minute. And so that's considered a zone 2. You still want to be able to be jogging or running or walking and still be able to hold a conversation like this. Zone 3 is where you have a little bit more trouble, and then zone 4 is like you just can't at all. And that also coincides with your VO2 max, which is a whole nother live or podcast that I could do on. I could talk about that crap all day. But we got Colin here. She's wanting to be a part of this.
You're talking to two people.
Do what?
You're talking to one person. No.
So? I'm not talking to one person. I'm talking live on TikTok, and I'm testing this out. Yeah, so. But I'm also recording this so I could clip it and post videos later.
So, like, you're talking about periods.
Who?
Yeah, we were on.
Oh, yeah?
And she was like, what is he talking about?
Yeah. See, now you messed up my camera. But, yeah.
Hi, guys.
That's, I mean, you have trouble, understanding what I'm talking about, but this is why a lot of people want to get educated about this stuff. And there's not a lot of education out there, and people don't really want to pay for somebody to tell them how to eat. They just want to figure it out for themselves, or get to a point where they're in the hospital and then finally, aha, like, now I got to eat right. So I got 2 gifts. So I made some money.
Not really, when it's from your wife. You made your own money.
Whose country?
That's Amy. That's Steven's sister. I went to school with her.
But when you have people do that, it pushes it out.
Oh, really? Cool. Thank you. All right. So yeah, I got about 15 minutes left. I'm gonna do this, so I'm gonna go over one more topic. So yeah, before I was rudely interrupted, as far as like how many times you need to be in the gym, it just depends on what your goals are, and that. So if you're gonna be strength training, you're gonna want to do it, 3-4 times a week, pushing yourself with heavy sets, a lot of reps, but a lot of focus on certain muscle groups or certain muscles, because like if you're doing functional training, you're pretty much doing full body all the time, and you're focused on like a set of upper or lower, back, arm, so it's just kind of like, it's like a body part versus individual sets and reps. with specific muscles in their groups. And if you want to do endurance, you want to do more functional training, I would do a couple times a week and then mix it with strength training. So I would do like 3 strength training days with 2 functional workouts, full body workouts. And if you're doing something like CrossFit, I would do 1 hard AMRAP, which is as many rounds as possible, and then do like find one really good one. Do that like on a Saturday or a Friday, so you have time to like rest throughout the rest of the weekend, because you'll push yourself, and then throughout the week you're gonna want 2 strength training days, and then you're gonna want some mobility training 2 other days, mixed in with some cardio and some endurance work. So you're gonna want to switch between, like, let's say like you run 200 meters, you walk 200 meters, and then you do 50 sit-ups, and then you do that for a round, you rest for 90 seconds, and then you jump back on 200 meters, and then do 50 sit-ups. Or you can time yourself. So that's a lot of CrossFit type workout. That's kind of the strength training, the functional training, the CrossFit workouts that I'm starting now on my next phase of workouts. So so it just kind of, it really gauges about what you want to do specifically for your body. Let's see. What else? Oh, also, okay, so kind of with the nutrition stuff, that that was my next thing. My wife said about curbing cravings. Say that 10 times fast. Curbing cravings, curbing cravings. So there's a lot of supplements that you can use. Um, the most talked about right now is the peptides, the GLP-1 peptides, the semaglutides, retatrutide, and trizepatide. All very good. All very good to use, especially if you are borderline diabetic, type 1 or type 2 diabetes. If they won't help you, then you have to look into the other avenue of those going hand in hand with your nutrition, because it all boils down to your nutrition. If you're taking those, you're also going to want to load up on protein. Like, I think retatrutide or trizepatide, one of those doesn't really with a high carb diet, so you're going to want to stick with a low carb diet. And semaglutide is one of the first ones that came to market, and it basically paralyzes your stomach. It paralyzes your digestive tract, and so the scientific words that I know are not relatable to anybody whatsoever. It blows past my head like all the time. But so it basically just paralyzes your stomach, and it keeps you from so it keeps you from pooping, basically. It's as disgusting as it sounds, but it just keeps you from pooping, and it takes longer because it's absorbing a lot of nutrients out of there, and it for some reason, I don't know why, but it hurts. Like my wife, we've been on it, I've been on it, I've tried it before, and it's just really not that satisfying, like as far as any type of peptide or medicine that you could be on. But it works. I mean, it works to lose weight, especially if you want that little kick, and to help get you started. But it still comes down to the basic of learning how to eat right and knowing what to do. And so with curbing that will definitely curb your appetite 100%, taking those GLP-1s. And then another thing is berberine. That's a supplement that you can take. There's some other ones on the market I don't want to name yet because um, they're really what you just have to look for is herbal supplements, and they're not going to be um, like they're not going to be instant, sort of like the drugs or the GLP-1s or anything like that. It's over time. It's like your body using its own cells and its own um, organs inside your body to absorb those nutrients, absorb those vitamins and things like that before it can work, because it's not going to like instantly like curb your appetite or anything like that. It helps, but you'll notice over time it'll get better and better slightly. um Another thing you can do is more water intake. That's one of the cheapest and most effective things that you could do is up your water intake. I don't want to tell you 1 gallon of water. You will drown yourself in the first day. You'll kill yourself drowning it, and especially if you're not used to. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say the K word. You will unalived. You will unalive yourself, but you will actually drown yourself trying to drink that much water. Surprisingly enough, and this is a fun fact, sweat is not how you burn fat out of your body. Sweat is only the byproduct of your organisms cooling your internal organs cooling themselves down. So you're not sweating out fat. What fat does is when it breaks down and when your metabolic rate gets higher, you're burning through fat, and your fat turns into these little micro cells, like at a subatomic level, like very, very microscopic. And then you drink water and that flushes out through your kidneys and through your liver. So all that sweat and thing that you think you're like actually burning, you're sweating out fat, you're not. It would help if you're burning more calories and you're getting your metabolic rate up. That's the goal, right? So you're not wrong for doing that. It's just you think you're sweating out fat, and it's not. It's just a byproduct of your internal organisms cooling themselves down. Now back to cravings. Usually I joke to my wife about like somebody should just hire me and slap food or slap drinks out of their hands. And I mean, I can't be everywhere at once, right? So that would be like the number one goal, is to have somebody is to have somebody standing beside you at all times, just watching what you eat and watching what you drink, and helping you curb your appetite from there. But it's really like it's a discipline. You just have to like eat. Like I would say portion everything. Like that's what I'm having trouble with now too. Like I said earlier, like we pigged out tonight and had a little bit of a cheat. But what I normally do is I make my plan like here. Like my plan says 6 ounces of turkey, 2 slices of turkey is usually what that would be, 1 slice of cheese, and then roll that up like I had one earlier in a low carb tortilla, and then 1 banana. Like you just portion everything out and put it in front of you. And if you're still hungry after that, drink some water. I can't stress that enough. But usually, if you go out to eat, think about where you're going before you do. I know a lot of times, like even me and the kids and the wife, we're just like, we don't know what to do, so we're just gonna go somewhere. But jump on ChatGPT or text me or DM me, whatever. If you're freaking out and you're like, I don't know what to eat or whatever, I don't want to screw up my diet. one of the best scenarios that I can think of is just go for the salad and don't have any carbs and just add grilled chicken. So if you're going to like Whataburger, get the salad, take out the croutons, take out anything that looks like carbs, add grilled chicken to it. You can do actually 2 grilled chicken breasts would be good, ideal for that. And the protein in that, it'll help you stay full longer. The other thing would be make sure your protein intake is high. It'll curb your appetite throughout the day, and do that in the beginning of the day, like towards breakfast. Like you'll do some yogurt, some strawberries, bananas. Um, that's right. That's pretty much ideal, especially if you're going to do low resistance training. In the morning, have 30 grams within 30 minutes of waking up, and do 30-minute walk at an incline of like 14%. And do that, do the 30-30-30 rule, and do that probably at like a 2 mile, I think it's a 2 mile per hour, the speed at 2 or 2.5, and that'll give you a good pace. So yeah, I mean, really, all in all, like, it's up to you for yourself if you want to make changes. Nobody's out here going to force you to make changes. Nobody's out here um, is going to be on your butt as much as you yourself are going to be. People like me who are trainers and want to help people. I mean, I'm doing this for free. I've got some questions that I answered for free tonight, and I want to do this periodically. And so if you like this, drop a comment, thumbs up, whatever, share it. So that way I can keep doing more of this. Because this isn't just about me and what I want to do for myself. It's about helping other people. Think about it this way: do you want your kids to see you the way that you are now, or do you want your kids to see you the way that you want to be seen? So just kind of think about that. And I hope y'all have a good night. I hope y'all liked some of this information. If you have any questions, DM me, text me, call me if you have my number, whatever it is. So yeah, just keep continuing on and do what you got to do to be better. Pray, train, repeat. Let's go. I earned 0.01 cent. I had 104 views. So I guess that's people just like scanning through. I had 1 new member. You. Of the fan club. Good, good, good. I like that. That was pretty cool. Wasn't expecting to go for a full hour, but just ended up having